Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and today I'd like to speak about happiness. Happiness, yes. If you love watches, then I think you're very familiar with the concept spending money to be happy. Okay, and sometimes it's like if you spend more money, then you're more happy. If the price is very high, you're super happy with watches. And my question then was, okay, when we can maximize our personal happiness by spending money, how easy is that? What's the price? What's the price for happiness? And I don't want to let you alone here with some blurry answers. I want to present you the numbers, the correct numbers. And I've read some articles and I found numbers. How to maximize your personal happiness. How much does it cost? And here are the answers. Australia, 82,400 Australian dollars, plus a smidgen, let's say, plus a smidgen. China, 7,300 Chinese yen, plus a little bit. And Germany, 45,000 euro, and some serious coin extra, I would say. Sweden, 35,000 euros, plus, let's say 5,000? Let's say 5,000. Russia, 385,000 rubles, plus 10%? Okay, let's take 10%. United Kingdom, 27,200 pounds, and let's say a little bit more than the neighbor. This is important. United States, 59,000 US dollars, and nice Christmas bonus. A little bit higher than the bonus of your colleague, let's say. And now let's close the list with Zaire, 24,418 US dollars, plus, let's say, free train ticket for the entire year. I think this will do. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, those numbers, why are they connected to happiness? What's going on here? Am I crazy? No. These numbers represent the average yearly income in those countries. Okay, and that's it. Plus a little bit more. And now the question again, why are they connected to happiness? And I found three reasons. I found three reasons in some articles, and I will present you those reasons. People are greedy in a way, and people want to earn a lot of money or want to get in possession of a lot of money, and they want a little bit more money than the average guy, and that's why I always said a little bit more. But at the same time, we are social animals. And imagine the following situation: you are in a restaurant with your friends, and your friend they earn, let's say, 30,000, whatever, a year, and you make 60. And when the bill comes, then there's the question in the room: hey, you 60,000 US dollar man, you could pay this very easy, and for us it's a lot of money. Could you pay this? Of course, nobody asks, but you are the rich guy, and then you feel uncomfortable together with your friends in a restaurant, and this is not happiness. This is not happiness. You should be very comfortable with your friends in a restaurant. You love your friends, okay? This is your leisure time. And if you feel uncomfortable and you say to yourself, well, I don't need this situation anymore, I will avoid visiting restaurants together with my friends. This is not happiness. This is absolutely not happiness. And so, yes, we want to feel a little special. We want to be a little bit above other people's, our neighbors and the average guy, but we want to stay in our community. I learned this during my studies. I studied economics, and a professor explained it very simple. Tim, you love wine. Here you have a glass of very good drop, and does it make you happy? And then I said, of course, I'm a wine aficionado. Of course it makes me happy. Okay, second glass. Does it make you happy again? And I said, yes, but the first glass is the best. Always. It's always the first glass of wine is always the best. And then the third glass. Does it make you happy? And yes, it makes me happy, but as I said, it's not so good as the first or the second glass. And you get the idea. Every more unit of a product adds a little bit happiness, but the amount is shrinking. And so you have this curve then. You have here the units, unit 1, 2, 6, blah, 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 blah. And here's the amount of happiness you're gaining, and it's like that. And for German people, this means they found a connection between money and happiness up to 80,000 euros. And passing 80,000 euros, there's no more increase in happiness. You can make then 100,000, 120, 150, 200,000. There is no more measurable connection between money and happiness. salary. We all know that. When I finished my studies, I was totally broke, and then I got my first job, proper job, a journalist. So I earned a little bit less than the average salary, but I felt super rich, super rich. I paid all my debts in, let's say, in a half year, and then I felt super, super rich for 1 year, I think. 1 year. Then I was used to spend money, and I was used to evolve new habits, pricey habits. We're talking about watches here. By the way, I'm wearing nothing super priced today. My beloved Oris Pointer Date. I really, really love this watch. It's my second best watch, and it's super affordable. Number one is the Rolex Datejust, but this is really number two. Okay, these were the 3 reasons why the maximum of happiness is hardly connected with the average income. But of course, this is a generalization. We are comparing here average people, okay? We're comparing people who are not sick, who are not in war zones or what else, okay? We're talking about normal, proper working people, all right? But I think we could be a little bit more precise here, because a country is a huge conglomerate of different societies and different communities. And I think if you want to maximize your happiness with money, then you have to ask yourself honestly, in which community I feel comfortable. And if you live with your family in a neighborhood of working people, normal average people, then maybe those are your numbers. But of course, if you are a Russian oligarch in London, and you have you're very afraid of Putin, but you have still your $2 billion US dollars, $2 billion US dollars. But your neighbor, another Russian oligarch, has $4 billion US dollars, and this is on the record. Some of those people with only 2 billion, they feel rather poor. They don't feel rich, because they see themselves as a part of the community of Russian oligarchs and not part of the working class, okay? And so I think you have to ask yourself honestly, who am I? In which community can I find my place? And you should, honestly. But if you say, oh, right, I feel very comfortable in a company of millionaires, then you better get your first million. And same thing with watches, I guess. If you are in the middle of a group of psycho aficionados, you're a collector of psychos, then maybe you need a fair, rare psycho, and then you're happy. Then this is your maximum of happiness you can get out of watches. But if you are in the middle of a group who collects Rolex watches, for example, then you need a crown and another crown. Then you need a rare crown. Maybe you need a Daytona, but maybe then you have reached your maximum. You don't need 2 Daytonas. Maybe the one is enough for you. Okay, but isn't this a little bit frustrating? A little bit too general? I mean, you have your list, and then you can see where is my community. Are there? Okay, there's such and such numbers I have to spend to maximize my happiness with money. Is it a little bit boring? I think yes. And if I had the chance, let's say, to grab $1 million US dollars under reasonable risks, okay, would I try it? Of course. Of course I would try it, because knowing statistics is one thing and the reality is another thing, of course. But I think those numbers and the connection is a good way to start. It's a good way to start. And it's a good way to involve our own sense what happiness is and what's best for us and our families. Okay, let me close with something funny. A viewer of the channel, he sent me two links to advertisements here on YouTube, 2 videos, one from Patek Philippe and the other from H. Moser. I've called it in my last video, the collection, Leo's collection video, I said H. Moser. Terribly wrong. The correct pronunciation I've learned is H. Moser et Compagnie. H. Moser et Compagnie. And check out these videos, please. There are links in the description. And the Patek video, of course, is about that bullshit. You don't buy a watch for you, you buy it for your son. It's a tradition. All this, those cliches. And the H. Moser and Compagnie, H. Moser et Compagnie clip is rather different. Very, very funny. I laughed pretty much. And so please check it out. And now let me close here. Thank you very much for your attention. If you like my channel, please subscribe and perhaps until next time.